Welcome and thank you for standing by. Currently, all participants are in a listen-only mode. Today's webinar is being recorded, and the recording will be posted publicly. If you have any objections, you may disconnect at this time. Now I'd like to turn the call over to your host for today, Crystal Jimerson.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on Where Are the Kids? Explore data for children 18 years and under. My name is Crystal Jimerson, and I'm a data dissemination specialist here at the U.S. Census Bureau. I want to thank you for joining us today for the It's All in the Tools webinar series. This new series was created by the Census Academy team here at the Census Bureau. You can register for any of the workshop webinars by accessing census.gov. We will post the workshops monthly for early registration. Just visit census.gov/academy. Please note the seating is limited, first come, first served basis. We think these hands-on exercise-based workshops will be a valuable opportunity for you to learn from our experts about how to access the Census Bureau data tools and resources. If you wish to follow along, take a moment now to open an additional browser to participate in the exercises. Before I introduce today's speakers, let's go over a few important housekeeping rules. As mentioned earlier, this webinar is being recorded. For your convenience, it will be uploaded to our Census Academy site with all supplemental materials relating to this webinar. In terms of how to ask questions during the webinar, you can submit your written questions using the chat panel, which is at the bottom center or right side of your WebEx screen. Please give 2 to 3 seconds. Once you've found the chat panel, make sure you choose Everyone from the drop-down menu. This will ensure we see your questions. Don't send your question to an individual panelist. Also, we ask that you do not include any personal or business identifiable information with your questions. Definitely keep the chat panel open also, because this is where we will provide key links and other resources. Keep in mind you won't be able to respond. Chat is just for us to send you links and other resources. In the chat box, we will be sharing throughout the webinar the link to our evaluation. We are very interested in hearing from you how we are doing. My colleagues, Lacey Lofton and Carol Miller, will be monitoring the chat panel. As time allows, we will answer your questions directly through the chat panel, or we will share your questions with the presenter to respond to throughout the workshop. If we don't get to all the questions with the response during the webinar, we will post the questions and responses with the webinar materials on the census.gov/academy site within 30 business days. Again, as mentioned before, near the end of the webinar, we'll put in a link to our evaluation so you can tell us how we did today. We hope you'll take the time to complete, as we are always looking for ways to improve our training. As you know, we are in a virtual environment and sometimes technical difficulties might occur. If you are having issues, try a different browser such as Chrome, or consider logging out and coming back into the session. If you are having audio issues, try selecting the computer audio or calling into the webinar phone via phone. Now, I would like to introduce our speakers, Jolie Golden and Nicole McKenzie. Thanks again for being here today. Nicole, you may begin.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Where are the Kids? If you're a parent, you've probably asked yourself that question many times. However, if you are a school administrator, a community planner, a daycare provider, or grant writer, you may also want to know where the kids are. You may also want to know a little bit more about them, like how many live in poverty? What percentage of children in your community live in single-parent homes? How many live in homes that have limited English skills? And so on. In today's webinar, my colleague Jolie Golden and I will explore some of our most popular data tools to show you how to access information relative to children. But first, let me share a little bit about the Data Dissemination and Training Branch, where Jolie and I work at the Census Bureau. You or your organization can request free data training from one of our 35 data dissemination specialists who are located throughout the country. We provide customized in-person or virtual training workshops and presentations on topics and tools to meet your specific needs. The Data Dissemination and Training Branch also houses Census Academy, a learning hub for census data skills. Census.gov Academy, if you go there, you will find all kinds of helpful information on how to access Census Bureau data using one of our 58 data tools. If you are short on time, we have data gems. These are short videos that help you quickly increase your knowledge in a specific area. I find they're generally 4 to 6 minutes in length. We also offer live webinars such as this one, and we have past webinars that are recorded on our site. You can contact us anytime. The contact information is there on the screen, and all of our training is free. We are always happy to help you learn about the Census Bureau and how our data can help you in your community. So let's meet your instructors. I'm Nicole McKenzie. I started at the Census Bureau in 2019, and I worked in New Hampshire as a partnership specialist. I currently work as a data dissemination specialist, and I serve customers in Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Massachusetts. And I provide workshops, presentations to help them learn about our data tools. So now I'd like to, the other thing, I used to be a grant writer. So I know personally, firsthand, how important data and Census Bureau's data is to winning that grant proposal. So let me turn it over to Jolie, and she'll tell you a little bit about herself.
Hi, I'm Jolie Golden. I'm based in Manhattan, and I have the exact same responsibilities as Nicole and can do the same types of workshops, making sure to customize them to your local organization and geographic area. My background includes work as a partnership specialist in 2020 and extensive work in the nonprofit world. We're very pleased to be with you today.
Thank you, Jolie. So now on to our webinar. First, let me share the objectives for today's session. You will learn about Census Bureau surveys that collect information relative to children. We will cover some of our most popular surveys and show you how to find others. We will explore the American Community Survey, by far one of our most popular surveys that collects and provides social, demographic, economic, and housing data. You'll also learn about Census Survey Explorer, how this tool will help you sort through our 130 plus surveys and censuses to find ones that contain data on children. And then lastly, this is the fun part, we will show you how to use census data tools, including QuickFacts, data.census.gov, and SAPI, and I will tell you what that acronym stands for, to access child demographics and population by various geographies. So here's an outline of today's webinar. We will start with a brief background and overview of our surveys, followed by an introduction to the data tools we will explore through live demos and exercises. This is where you, the audience, will get a chance to practice your skills. We will demonstrate one exercise, then we will do one together with you, and then we will challenge you to solve the third one on your own. But don't worry, we will display the steps for you in the chat if you want to look at them. Now, before we get started, we would like to do a little poll with the audience. So we have questions here. A poll box will pull up, and the questions are, how do you use data retrieved from the census.gov? So it'll give us a little idea of who is with us today. We also would ask, what is your experience level with Census Bureau data retrieval tools? And then we have a fun one. Seeing it's related to kids, we'd love to know what your favorite place was as a kid, or still is for that matter. So the poll should pull up, and we're going to give you about a minute to answer the polling questions. The poll has closed. And I'm looking at the results. I believe you can see them as well. Looks like a lot of folks here are from research, which is great. And we have some moderate users, a lot of beginner users, novice users. And what was the favorite place? Oh, it was tied between the park or playground, woods, mountains, or the beach. The beach and the woods and mountains, they equal. Well, those are two of my favorite places too. So let's get through this webinar. We can get out to the woods and the mountains or the beach. So next slide, please. A little bit about the Census Bureau first. So the U.S. Census Bureau is part of the U.S. Department of Commerce, and it's the largest of 17 primary federal governmental statistical agencies. Our mission is to serve as the leading source of quality data about America's people and economy. We often get asked, what do you do in the other 9 years when you aren't counting everyone in the nation during a decennial census? Well, we are conducting over 130 surveys, as I mentioned previously, and censuses of households and businesses across the nation. These surveys provide data users, communities, and businesses with reliable, timely, and accurate data that help inform decisions, access and distribute funding, and plan for community programs and development. So the primary uses of decennial. You know, it can't be argued that we are best known for the decennial census, as we hire more than 500,000 employees to help us conduct it, which makes us the largest employer within the federal government during decennial census operations. Aside from apportioning congressional representation, results from the decennial census are used to draw state legislative districts, congressional districts, school districts, and voting precincts. It's also used to distribute more than $670 billion in federal funds every year through approximately 320 federal programs. It assists federal, tribal, state, and local government, as well as nonprofits and businesses, make informed decisions. So, surveys with data related to children. This slide provides a few examples that document the information relative to children on some of the surveys that we conduct. As you can see, other government agencies contract with us to carry out survey work for them as well. And just some of the examples here are HUD, the Housing and Urban Development, Department of Ed, U.S. Department of Labor, and U.S. Department of Justice. So not only are we conducting our own surveys, we're also surveying for other parts of government. So the American Community Survey, or ACS, what is it? The ACS is an ongoing monthly survey sent to 3.5 million addresses per year. The data goes back to 2005, and it produces timely data for small areas and population groups previously collected on the decennial long form. So if you remember back years ago, there were two parts to the decennial. Well, this is the long form, which I believe 1 in 8 households received. It is now its own survey called the ACS, and it collects and covers more than 35 topics, including employment, occupation, veteran status, commuting, and I'll get to that in a few minutes and show you the details. And it also supports 300 or more known federal government uses. The estimates are released annually, and it's used in many of our data tools, as we will show you. If you look to the right, you'll see key dates, and this shows the period estimates. ACS 1 year, the release date for the 2022 will come out in September 2023, and the 5-year estimates will come out in December of 2023. There's a link at the bottom there that actually will show you how to get to that program as well. Next slide. So what are period estimates? As I mentioned, the ACS collects data monthly over a period of time. 1 year is our 12 monthly surveying every month. 5-year equals 60 months. So these are known as the 1 year and 5-year period estimates. Now this information is important to know when you're using our data tools, as the 1 year estimates are only available for geographies of 65,000 or more. If you're looking for data on smaller geographies, you need to look at the 5-year period estimates. So we will show you that as we go into some of the tools. So what topics are available? We just learned a little bit about the American Community Survey. Now let's take a look at the data content as gathered from questions asked on the survey. Content can be grouped into these four main characteristic types: social, demographic, economic, and housing. And you can see next to each title, there is in parentheses DPO2, DPO3, DPO4, DPO5. If you may not know what that is, but you may if you've been into data.census.gov or you've looked at some of our data tables. Those represent data profile tables relative to ACS information. So the DPO2 table has the social characteristics associated with it. And when you search, sometimes you can just search by a table and it will bring up that specific information. So you can see from these characteristics, there's quite a bit of information collecting on the ACS. Under social, you get information on grandparents, marital status, school enrollment. Demographic shows you age, race. You can go into economic and you find out information on health insurance, income, employment status. And then the housing section provides a lot of information on home value, occupancy rates, year built. Now, year built is important when dealing with children. As you know, houses built prior to 1978 may have lead paint. So you can actually do a search and find out, what houses in your community were built at a certain time. So if you're a daycare provider or you have children, it's good to know, where the houses are that may have lead paint in them. So next slide, please. So exploring Census Bureau tools. This is where we're going to get into these great tools that we have that help you find our data. And the tools that we will explore Survey Explorer, Census Survey Explorer, which I'll show you in a few moments. But then we're going to go into the live demonstrations and exploration of QuickFacts, SAPI, and I will tell you what the acronym stands for, and data.census.gov. So first, we're going to look at Census Survey Explorer. So remember I mentioned that the U.S. Census Bureau conducts over 130 surveys and programs. Now, how would you ever know, or even remember for that matter, what surveys we conduct that provide data on certain topics that you would be looking for? Well, the Census Survey Explorer is a great tool to help you sort through our numerous surveys to find the ones specific to your data needs. This slide depicts what the landing page of the Census Survey Explorer looks like. To find surveys relative to your needs, you can search by a keyword in the search bar, or you can open the drop-down search menus that search by topic, subtopic, frequency of survey, or geography level. Since we are looking for data on children, we've clicked on the subtopic drop-down and selected children from the list of options. And there's a long list of options. You'll also notice that childcare and child support is also an option under subtopics. But for this example, we are searching for surveys filtered by children. So when you do this, below this picture on the main page, surveys pop up, and the next screen will show you what we got as a result. The result was 19 surveys related to children, and this is a list of them. As you can see, American Community Surveys right there, the decennial census is right on there, and many others. And the nice thing about Census Survey Explorer, when you go on the website, it shows all these surveys, and you can look at each one in more detail. So it will tell you, how often that survey is conducted. It will tell you what geography levels you can get for that certain survey. So there's more on our site. I'd encourage you to go in and check out that Survey Explorer. So next slide. So finding data quickly with QuickFacts. I'm now going to turn it over to my colleague Jolie Golden to talk about a quick and easy data called QuickFacts. And then she's going to take a deeper dive and walk you through data.census.gov that has some very exciting and customized features. So take it away, Jolie.
Thank you, Nicole. So everyone, on your separate browser window that may be open, you can open up www.census.gov/QuickFacts. You can see the web address right on this slide on the bottom. And I'm going to introduce QuickFacts, and then we'll do an exercise together. So the QuickFacts Data Access Tool provides users with easy access to basic population, business, and geography statistics for all states and counties and for cities and towns with more than 5,000 people. So QuickFacts is easy to use both on your laptop or computer and on your phone. You can pull up to 6 different cities or places. As you can see in this demonstration, I show on this slide, you can see Phoenix, Brownsville, St. Louis, and you can select a fact and it will pop right up on the top, like where you see persons under 5 years. Right at the top of the slide, you can see those statistics. You can remove geographies if you want by clicking on the X next to each city or place. And then, next slide. And then if you click on one of the cities or places that you already have highlighted, it will bring a detailed dashboard view where you can see the city. This one happens to be Phoenix. And you can also see the different breakdown of the fact you selected in the key below. So now we are going to go to the QuickFacts live demo, where we're going to search for data from Kansas City, Missouri, Miami, Florida, and Birmingham, Alabama, and see which of these 3 cities has the highest % of persons under 18 years. My colleagues are going to place this exercise into the chat, and now I'm going to go live. So here we have QuickFacts. It's really so nice and easy. And right here, I'm going to put in Kansas City. And I want to make sure I select Kansas City, Missouri. And right when I do that, it pops up right below. And it's ready for my next city, which is Miami. And I want Miami City. There are a lot of different Miamis in Florida. And the last one will be Birmingham, Alabama. And from the facts here, just to the right of where I entered my cities, I can see the population under 18 years. So persons under 18 years, right under age and sex. And look how quick that was. And when you look on top, you can see persons under 18% pulls up. And I'm looking at Kansas City, Missouri, which has 22.8% of persons under age 18. So that is our QuickFacts demo. And now we're going to go back to the presentation. I could also scroll down and see a lot more information about these cities. So let's move to data.census.gov, where we'll find a treasure trove of information. Here you can see the advanced search for data.census.gov. And while we continue to release decennial data, along with American Community Survey data, economic census, population estimates, and much more to the public, it all will come up in data.census.gov, shown here. This slide is showing you survey data that is most often requested and accessed. If you click on the blue folders, these blue folders, you'll be able to filter by specific surveys. So this is the landing page for data.census.gov. And you can see that you can search, you can do a quick search in a single search, or you can click below the search bar in the advanced search. Either road will lead you to the same place. And our single search was recently enhanced, so you can try putting a few words in there and see what comes up. Sometimes you'll get results up of over 1,000 tables. So that's where advanced search is really helpful. So this shows you the advanced search, where I'll show you live soon how and then we'll do exercises together where you can use different filters, and the topics listed below, when you click on those folders, you'll find even deeper information where you can narrow your search. So under income and poverty, you can narrow to SNAP benefits. Under education, you can narrow to school enrollment and much more. You can also do many more complex searches, but today we'll focus on a few specific ones. This slide shows most commonly used geographic areas. So in our geographies here, you can see the most popular ones are up here at the top. So the census tract is a bedrock of information that averages usually 4,000 populations, even down to the block group, which is the smallest geographic area. A block group you can only access for decennial census data, whereas you can access block level data for the American Community Survey. One of the things I want to mention in particular is the difference between zip code and zip code tabulation area. So sometimes people look at this and they say, but Jolie, I'm looking for a zip code. Well, zip code tabulation area is very close. It's our trademarked way of saying zip code. Zip code for the Postal Service refers to a mail service route, a postal mail service route, whereas for the tabulation area, it's a geographic area. If you're looking for other geographic areas, you can scroll down here and you'll find all of the other geographic areas that we offer, including the public use microdata area, which is useful for geographies 100,000 and over. So with all of the data available from the census's surveys and programs, it's important to understand that not all data is available for all geographies. What you're looking at here is a hierarchy of census geography, in particular to some geographies for which the American Community Survey data is available, and a relationship between them. Some geographies nest within one another, whereas other ones, like metropolitan statistical areas, may cross state and county boundaries. And you can see that you can source geographies for many, many areas within your local community, over 35,000 communities. So this is an example of search results for the single search. I put in just poverty under 18 years old in Detroit City, Michigan. I just put in children poverty in Detroit, and this is what came up. This is an example of a thematic map, and I'm going to show you how to do this, and you're going to do it on your own in just a few minutes. So now we're going to move to a live demonstration on data.census.gov, and our first question is, what is the tract with the highest population of children aged 3 and over enrolled in kindergarten to 12th grade in Queens County, New York in 2021? Use a map to show this tract as it compares to other tracts in the county. Then change the coloring of the map to green. So now we're going to go to data.census.gov. I'm going to go there, and I hope you have it open in a separate browser so that after I do this demonstration, we'll do a similar example together. So here we are in data.census.gov. Here's our single search, and this is a more advanced query, so I want to go to advanced search. And I'm going to choose among my filters on the left, and since my question references 2021, and hopefully my colleague put the question into the chat, I'm going to select 2021, and then I'm going to go to topics, and I know I want school enrollment. So looking at these different topics, the one that jumps out at me is education. And I'm going to click on school enrollment and select school enrollment. Then let's go to geography. And in terms of geographies, I'm looking for census tracts in Queens County, New York. Now, you might think, maybe I want to go to county, but no, you want to go to the smallest geography that you're looking for, which is census tract. So we go to census tract, and then we're going to make our way. We're going to click on New York because we know Queens County is in New York. And here I can search by county and put in Queens. And it'll pop up. And now what's nice is I don't have to select all of these 725 census tracts. We're just going to select all census tracts within Queens. This really saves us a lot of time. And on the bottom right, there's a little button for search. So this brings up 24 tables, and it just so happens the one I'm looking at is going to be school enrollment. But I could shop in any one of these tables for data that might interest me. Now, this is important. It looks like a stop sign, but it's actually just a friendly way to say, open the table. You want to click on this open the table link. And then the data pops up. I'm going to remove the margin of error. In this nice table ribbon, you can see that we can export to Excel, CSV, or zip file. We could share, or you could always copy this table link at the top, and we can map our data. And I know I want population 3 years and over enrolled in school in all of these census tracts. If you wanted to scroll on the bottom, you could find a particular one. And I'm going to map the data because that's just a much easier and really nice visual way to find the data I'm looking for. You can see how all of the census tracts have shown up. And now they should be now they're populating. So what I'm going to do, I'm looking because I don't know if all of them populated. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to change the color to green. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to change the color to green. And I could also make that color darker by dragging this line that says transparency to make it more opaque, or I can make it lighter. But I want it to be darker because it's easier to find the tracts with the highest population that way. And I'm going to click on variable to make sure that I've got the right thing selected. If I wanted, I could repopulate the map with any of these other variables, but this is what I'm looking for. Oh, enrolled in kindergarten to 12th grade. Sorry, everyone. So I'm clicking there, and I'm going to click on kindergarten to 12th grade. And we're going to watch now how this map is going to dynamically change. Now I'm going to click on classes to bring up our histogram. And when I drag this to the right, watch these numbers change. The numbers in the key are going to change until I get to the one which has the highest population, the one that's deepest green. And when I'm looking here, it's tract 455, and I can click on that tract and find out that 2,483 people are enrolled, children are enrolled in kindergarten to 12th grade in this specific tract. If I wanted to find out more about this tract, I could click on the geographic profile and it will automatically open. And just like on TV, it'll bring me right to that tract. And having looked at this area, I can tell you that this is a planned housing development based on the geography. But I can also look at a lot more information, like this really nice age and sex pyramid, which Nicole will bring up. But I can then go back, and they'll bring me right back to my table. So that was our first exercise. And now we're going to go back to the presentation to look at our second exercise that we are going to do together. Okay, so our second exercise, and hopefully everyone has a browser open to data.census.gov, is what is the county with the highest population, age 3 and over, enrolled in school in grades 1 to 4 in California in 2021. Use a map to show this county as it compares to other counties in the state. Then change the coloring of the map to purple. Our bonus question is, what is the county with the highest percent of population 5 to 9 years old enrolled in public school in California in 2021? And we're actually going to look at the same table to find this data. So here we go. And hopefully you'll be doing this right along with me. My colleagues are going to paste the steps that I'm going to go through to find this information. So if you want to look at the steps, you can, or you can just follow along with me. I'm going to go right back to the window that we were on before and show you that if you want to clear out, we were working on one table, I want to clear that out. I just click the U.S. Census Bureau logo in the upper left corner, and I click on Advanced Search again. So now we're going to select again. We're going to start with years and let years pull up, and we know 2021 was in our question. Then let's go to topics, and we'll go back. Today we're focused on education and school enrollment. And now I'm going to go to geography to find all of those counties in California. So I'm going to select county and go by state to California, sunny California, and click on all counties within California. And now I'm going to click search. And I can use any of these tables, but let's look at table. Let's see if we can find what we're looking for in S1401. So we're going to click on the table, and I can see, I'm going to get rid of the margin of error, and I can see that there's public school and percent in public school in this table, and that's of interest to me. And I know I'm looking for the highest population, age 3 and over, enrolled in school in grades 1 to 4, and this shows elementary. So I know I've got the right data here. I'm going to click on map so that we can map. We'll see the nice maps of California come up, and this actually goes right to the county with the highest school enrollment. So if I click on this county, I can see what the school enrollment is in LA County, California, but I actually need to go to variable and make sure I'm selecting grades 1 to 4. So let's click on that. Hopefully everyone's able to follow along. And when I click on this, you can see that 437,650 is the number of population age 3 and over enrolled in school in grades 1 to 4. It's the highest population density of children aged in grades 1 to 4. The highest number is in LA County in California. Now, that probably makes a lot of sense to us, knowing the size of LA County. Now we're going to go, we wanted to change the color of the map to purple. So let's do that. And when you pull down that drop down, if you just click anywhere outside of it, it will disappear. Now let's look at our bonus question, which is, what is the county with the highest percent of population 5 to 9 years old enrolled in public school in California in 2021? So right here, I knew that this has the variable I'm looking for. So I'm going to go and I'm going to search and put in percent, because this is going to lessen the number of variables I'm looking through. And I want 5 to 9 years old in public school, which happens to be a little bit further down. So percent in public school population 5 to 9 years. This is the estimate I'm looking for. I click on that. My map repopulates. Come on, map. My map usually repopulates. Let's see. Hang on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if it'll populate with the 5-year estimates. There we go. So I changed it to the ACS 5-year estimate, and then my data surfaced. And what I'm going to look for here, I'm going to go to classes, And it's going to lead me to, hold on, just a second. Here we go. And now I'm going to lead you to the histogram, and we can drag that histogram over. Oh. And I think I gave everyone the steps, so hopefully you're having an easier time right now with this variable than I am, but it just does show you how easy it is to switch from one variable to the next. And I'm going to move to the next map. Okay, let's move on to let's go back to the presentation and move to our next example. So this is an example that we're going to do, that I'm going to have you guys do. We're going to our next example. Crystal, next slide. So the exercise on your own is, what are the top 2 census tracts with the largest male population 3 years and over enrolled in public school in grades 9 to 12 in Salt Lake City County, Utah? And the hint that I'm giving you is to select a table that includes sex by school enrollment and type of school. So you're going to map this data and then add the boundaries for place to see what the places are that are closest to these 2 tracks. And you can use boundaries in the table ribbon to find the place. I will demonstrate this after we give you 5 minutes to do this question. And we will put up on the next slide, the question will be posted in the chat. And then on the next slide, you'll see all of the steps that you can take to solve this query. So we'll be back with you in just a few minutes. Okay, hi everyone, we're back. And I'm sure some of you have been able to solve this, and some of you may be feeling like you would like to see how it's done. And so I'm going to walk us through the steps. It is helpful to use the most current year that data is available for, so I apologize if 2021 wasn't listed there, but it is listed in the steps. So let's go back to the live data.census.gov. And we're going to go back to advanced search. We're going to click on years. And once again, just to repeat, our question is, what are the top 2 census tracts with the largest male population 3 years and over enrolled in public school in grades 9 to 12 in Salt Lake City County, Utah? And I'm going to select 2021 because I know that's the year that, the most recent year that data is available for. My topic will be education and school enrollment. And I'm going to click type of school to narrow things down a little further. You also could just use school enrollment. And I'm going to go to geography, where I know I'm looking for census tracts as the smallest geography in Salt Lake County, Utah. So I'll select Utah, and there are less tracts in Salt Lake County than in Queens that we saw before, and all census tracts. And now I'll search. And so the table that was indicated in the steps was B14002, sex by school enrollment by level of school by type of school. So this is a pretty specific table. I'll get rid of my search, and you can see all of the data shown here. And now we are going to, and we can see the data is broken down the way we're looking for it. And we're going to click on map. I'm going to click on map. And now the data will populate. And I'm going to change the colors first. You can do it at any time and make them more opaque so we can see how many deep color tracks there are. And under variable, I know specifically I want the largest male population enrolled in grades 9 to 12 in public school. So I'm scrolling down a little bit. Hold on, it's actually up here. Enrolled in grade 9 to 12 in public school. So when I click on that, you can see how that changes. I'm going to go to the histogram and slide this all the way across until I get to 2 tracks because they're pretty close. So I decided to pick 2 of them. I can make this map even bigger. And I see my 2 answers here, which is track 1130.16 is one answer. And the other one is this small tract here, which is track 1135.40. Now I want to find the places that are closest to those 2 tracks. So I'm going up to the table ribbon, to my resources here, and clicking boundaries. And what shows up is a list on the side. If I click on place, all of a sudden the places, which can be smaller cities or larger ones, will show up. And the places that are closest to those tracks, I'm zooming in and I see Riverton and Kearns and West Jordan. So that's the answer to our on your own question. And now back to the presentation, please. And thank you so much for sharing your time with me in data.census.gov. And we're now going to go back to Nicole for small area income and poverty estimates, also known as SAPI.
Well, thank you, Jolie. And we told you we would tell you what the acronym was for SAPI. There you have it right there. Next slide, and I'll tell you a little bit about what SAPI is. So SAPI is a data tool, and it provides annual estimates of income and poverty. It provides data at the state, county, and school district levels, and it's used by federal, state, and local jurisdiction to allocate funds. So this includes annual Title I allocations to school districts. Data that comes into SAPI to provide us this wealth of information comes from, there you have the 2 I talked about earlier, the American Community Survey, the Decennial Census, but SAPI also uses other data from other sources, such as federal income tax records, SNAP records, BEA personal income estimates, SSI, and population estimates. So what data are provided? At the county and state level, you can get in SAPI children under 5 in poverty. That's actually only at the state level. Related children ages 5 through 17 in families in poverty. Children under 18 in poverty, and all people in poverty, as well as the median household income. At the school district level, you can get the total population, children 5 to 17, and related children 5 to 17 in families in poverty. So let's go to the next one, and I'll show you the link. We're going to go in and we're going to explore SAPI. The link to SAPI directly is below on the right here. This is what the landing page looks like. So I am going to take you there now, and we will do 3 exercises similar to how we did it with Jolie, and we'll explore SAPI. So let me share with you. All right, here we are. Okay, here we are on the landing page of SAPI. So, oh, actually, wait a minute. I didn't want to go there. I wanted to read the questions first. Sorry, Crystal, can you bring us back to the presentation so people know what we're looking for? Sorry. Okay. All right, so we're going to go into SAPI, which we just did a little prematurely. And we're going to look for what state has the highest number of children under 5 years old living in poverty. We're also going to look for what state has the highest percentage of children under 5 in poverty. And then we want to know from those two states, which one has the lowest median household income. All right, so now let me take you to SAPI. And again, you can follow along. We'll do one together. I'm going to do a quick demonstration and then we'll do an exercise together. So here we are at the landing page. It shows the map of the United States. So we want to compare states. So we don't need to filter down. If you look over here to the left, you'll see that if we wanted to filter down by state, county, or school district, we could just click on one of these, which we will shortly. But for this exercise, we want to compare states. So the information we want to know is we want to know about children under 5 years old. So if you look at poverty rates or income, you have choices. We're simply going to click on under age 5. And as you'll see, the map changes. You get this colorful map. The darker, it's a color-coded one like our maps are, which give you a great visual of the darker states have the higher poverty rates for under 5, and the lighter states have lower poverty rates. And then over here, you can see the line graphs. So you can actually just scroll around it. It's the line graphs for all the states. But where we want to go is we want to go down into this table below. And if you notice, it has in this column, the third column from the left, we have all the states listed. They are in alphabetical order, which is great, but it doesn't really help us because we want to find the state that has the highest number of children under 5 living in poverty. So what we want to do is we want to scroll over till we get to the column that says number in poverty. And to find our answer, we just want to click on the header of the column. So that immediately sorted it by ascending order. So it shows us that Vermont has the lowest number of children under 5 living in poverty, but we wanted the highest. So we just have to click it again to reverse the order, and it brings it in by descending order. As you'll see, Texas has the most number of children at 393,888 under 5 living in poverty. So now, Vermont's a small state, Texas is a large state. The next part of this question, we want to know, all right, what's the percentage of children under 5 living in poverty? What state is that? So all we need to do is slide our cursor over here to the right, and we'll see we have a heading of a column that says percent in poverty. So again, you want to click on that, and it immediately resorts everything. Of course, it's ascending order, so we want to click on it twice to get the descending order. And we can see that 30.3% of children under 5 living in poverty is the highest, and that is for the state of Mississippi. Now, the last part of that question, the last question for the exercise, we wanted to know between these two states, which one had the lowest median income. So this is such a great tool because we can just slide over here to the left again, where we had chosen under 5. And we can click on median household income. So it immediately brings up and loads that data. Again, down in the table, it's sorted it alphabetical, but we want to know household income. So we're going to slide over to the column header, click on it. And this time it's how we want it because it's ascending order. The lowest household income, 48,871, the median household income. And it is Mississippi. So from our two states, Mississippi would have the lowest. You scroll down, you can see Texas is down here somewhere. Here's Texas down here. So the answer for that was Mississippi. So now let's go back to the presentation and look at the second exercise. I'll go a little bit slower. And if you could all pull up SAPI on your browser and follow along with me, that will get you prepared for the third question that I'm going to ask you to do on your own. So here's the second question, second exercise. What county in Massachusetts has the highest percentage of children under 18 years old living in poverty? What school district in Massachusetts has the highest percentage of children in that age bracket living in poverty? And then we're going to do, I didn't show you the last one, but I'm going to show you this time. We'll go through it together. We're going to pull up a map and we're going to pull a profile of that school district up to find the information: median household income, median age of population, and percent without health care coverage. So these are in the chat. Carol has added them to the chat. I'm going to now take you to SAPI. And here we are back at the SAPI site. And as you can see, it still has my information from the last exercise. What you need to do is just go to the tab over here on the left. It says reset. Hit that tab. Magically brings the SAPI tool right back to the starting spot, so we can begin this next exercise. So what do we want to do? We want to search by state. So this time, instead of looking at the nation, we are going to go up into the filter by, and if you can all click on state, it will bring up a menu, and it has all of the states listed. And scroll down and click on Massachusetts. Select OK. You'll see it brings up the state of Massachusetts. So we wanted to know about the counties in Massachusetts. So if you go back over to the left where your selection area, you're filtering, you can view by the state of Massachusetts, you can view by counties or school districts. For this first exercise, we want counties. So I'm going to click on counties. And we want to know about children under 18. So this map is pulling up just for all ages, but we're going to bring our cursor down. We're going to select under 18-year-olds. It immediately changes the map and everything. And you can see by looking at the map, there are two darker counties. One looks like Suffolk County, one looks like Hampden County. Now you can look quickly and see, okay, Hampden County is 24.8% and Suffolk County is 25.1%. But some states have a lot more counties and the colors may be similar. So I always like to go down into the table. I think this is where you can quickly pull up the data you're looking for better. So what do we want to do? We want to find the column that has the highest percentage of children. So percent in poverty here. And if you remember, we clicked on it once. That's the wrong order. We're looking for the highest percent of children in poverty under 18. So we click on it again. And you'll see 25.1% is slide over. It is Suffolk County. So that is the answer to the first question. Now the second question. What do we want to do? Give you a minute, not a minute, a couple seconds. We're going to go back over here and we simply want it to change it to school district. So all we have to do is click on school district. It's not. Okay, let me see. I'm going to show you it. Hold on. I'm going to reset. A few little glitches here. If you didn't have a glitch, you're doing well. So I'm gonna just start again. State. I'm gonna choose Massachusetts. Click OK. And now we want to view by school districts. Aha. Here they come. There they are. Yay. Okay. So these are all the school districts in Massachusetts. Now, if you noticed, if it had loaded before like it did when I practiced, of course, you would have seen that we had originally had under 18 checked off. When you switch school districts, this bottom section with the ages automatically changes for you to 5 to 17. Those are the ages of children in school. So we want to find what school district has the highest percentage of children in the district that are living in poverty, in families in poverty. So again, we go to the bottom And we are looking over here, relevant ages 5 to 17 poverty ratio. Click on the column header twice, and we get 37.3% in Springfield School District. Now, this map is pretty cool because I see one, and I'm betting that's Springfield School District. It is. So, you know, that would have been easy to pull up by the map because it's jumping right out at you, but you can find it this way. So now the next part of this exercise is the mapping part. Now, if you're looking at your screen and following along, you'll see over here, there's an option to click on a map. So that's what I'm going to do. This brought you someplace that should look very familiar, data.census.gov. So it's a nice link. It brings you right over into where Jolie just gave us a tour and showed us around in. So here is Springfield School District within data.census.gov on the map. If you click on that, it'll bring up an option to let you view a profile. So you can click on View Profile, and here comes great information on Springfield School District, Massachusetts, the profile. We wanted to know median household income. It's right here for you, $42,498. We wanted to know median age of population. I don't see it up here, but if you scroll down, it's right here. 33.3 is the median age in Springfield School District. So that's a little bit younger than the state as a whole, which is 39.9. And then if you come down here, you'll see this really cool population pyramid. And what it does, it breaks out the population into 5-year age brackets by sex. So if you look at this, you can see that the 20 to 24-year-old age bracket is pretty much looks like the highest population for the Springfield School District, looking at this population pyramid. And that might be Springfield College may be located there, I'm not sure, but that is the most number for population. The last part of that, we wanted to know percent with without healthcare coverage. That is actually back up here on this ribbon, and it's 4.7%. So that is the second exercise together. Now we're going to go back to the presentation. We'll go back to the presentation, and I'm going to challenge you to try an exercise on your own. So these questions will be posted in the chat, and then let me read the questions, and then we'll put the hint and the steps on how to find it. We'll leave that here in the presentation. But what we're going to look for is we're going to find the school district in Montana with the highest number of children ages 5 to 7 living in families in poverty. There were people that like the mountains, so we're going to Montana. Did that just for you. After we find that, we are going to map that school district, and we're going to look for these factors. There's a bonus. I would like to know what age group has the highest population. And I have a hint here, and it's kind of a neat question, but the hint is use the DP5 table. If you can find that DP05 table that I had referenced in the American Community Survey, and see what that tells you the age group with the highest population is. And just one other thing before we start the timer, make sure you're looking for the highest number of children ages 5 through 17, not the highest percentage. So we're gonna go to the next slide, which will provide the steps, but I'm also gonna give you 3 minutes. I don't think that you need 5. I'll give you 3 and see what you can find, and I'll be back shortly. Okay. It's about 3 minutes. I hope you all found it. I am going to walk you quickly through it and see how we do here. So I'm going to reset the safety tool. I'm going to try to. There we go. Okay, so we're looking for the school district in Montana with the highest number of children ages 5 to 17. So first we wanted to select the state. Great state of Montana. right here. And we want school districts. We want to view by school districts. Again, when you sort it by school, you view by school districts, it changes your age group to what you need. We are coming down into the table and we are looking for the poverty, the number, relevant ages 5 to 17 in families in poverty. Not the poverty ratio, but the number. So we're going to click on that twice. And we're going to see that Billings Elementary School has the highest number of children in their school district living in poverty. So I'm going to map that. Brings us into data.census.gov. We will click on the Billings Elementary School District, pull up the profile. We're looking for total population, which hopefully you had that, which was 117,679. The median income, 64,476. And the population with a bachelor's degree is over here, 37.3%. Now the bonus was asking you about the age. Some of you may have come down here and you may have looked at this population pyramid and you might have seen that, okay, here it is right here. 25 to 29-year-olds. If I added those two together, it looks good. But I asked you to use the hint with the DPO5 table. So we are going to take our browser and go back, which will bring us back into data.census.gov. And if you look over to the left, you'll see the DPO5 table. I'm going to click on that. And it's still in the map form. So I want to bring it to the table form. If you go up here on the ribbon that Jolie had walked you through, you have the table. You can click it, and over here to the right, it says View Full Table. I'm going to view full table. And here's Billings Elementary, and we're going down to the ages. And we are seeing 16,005. This is 25 to 34-year-olds. So if you got this, you're right. If you had the 25 to 29-year-old, you're right. The only difference is this breaks the ages into 10-year age group, and the pyramid on the profile breaks it into a 5-year. So sometimes you're looking for it with different breakdowns. So either way, you were right if you got that. All right, so let's go back to the presentation. And I just want to share a few more, just a couple more additional Census Bureau resources we have related to children. So next slide will bring up statistics in schools. Now, I just want to give a plug to our team who's putting on a webinar on May 11th at 2 p.m. And it's about statistics in schools. So if you have any interest in this great program, I would really encourage you to sign up for that webinar on May 11th at 2 p.m. Statistics in schools, what is it? It's a U.S. Census Bureau program. It was created by teachers, for teachers. The program leverages census data to create engaging, free, and easy downloadable classroom activities for students in grades K through 12. You can also use it for homeschooling. If you want your child at home to have a fun activity and learn something on a rainy day, there's great activities and games. There's a Kahoot game, just really fun stuff in here. The SIS is an ongoing program. It's been around since 2014. And the resources are just incredible. There's over 200 free resources. Please check it out. And really, that webinar, I think, will be a great information for you on this great program that we have. So then the last thing that I want to share is a little bit about America Counts stories. We feature these. They're on various topics, including children. We use stories, graphics, and videos that tell the stories behind the numbers. So this graphic is an example that shows child poverty rates by county across the United States. I would invite any of you to go on and search our America Counts, Stories Behind the Numbers to review many of the great videos and stories and visuals that we have. There's a lot of work that goes into these, and they have some just great data. So I hope you enjoyed today's webinar and learned how to find the kids, or at least find data about the kids. If you liked today's session, please join us again on one of our upcoming webinars. We have many, including the statistics in schools, but we have, if you go on our site, you'll see we have a lot of great webinars, recorded and live ones coming up. You can also request data training or workshops for your organization from one of our data dissemination specialists who are located throughout the country. Remember, we do in-person and virtual presentations, and the service is always free. We have provided contact information on this slide, and we even have a QR code where you can sign up directly to receive information from the Census Academy about these upcoming webinars, data gems, and online courses that we have. So on behalf of Jolie Golden and myself, thank you so much for joining us today. I don't know if there are any questions. I see we have like 5 minutes left, but I know our moderators have been answering questions that have come up. If there's anything outstanding, let us know. We have a few minutes.
Hi, ladies. No, actually, you answered everything during the presentation. So you covered everything that was asked in the chat during the presentation. So I'll just let you guys wrap up.
All right. Well, thanks again. Enjoy yourselves. For those who like the beach and the mountains, have a nice weekend. And I hope you get out and play in the playground and go to the mountains and visit the beach. So it's been a pleasure.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jolie and Nicole, for this excellent webinar. And again, before we conclude, I'd like to thank everyone who played a role in today's webinar. And of course, thank you to our audience for spending your time with us this afternoon. Again, please take a moment to fill out the evaluation by following the link provided in the chat, and then look out for the recording and the PowerPoint from this workshop on the Census Academy by visiting census.gov/academy. That does bring us to a close. So we thank you again and hope you have a great afternoon.
This concludes today's webinar. Thank you for your participation. You may disconnect at this time.